feel like growing up black in Portland for me was a great experience because the community and the neighborhoods that we grew up in, we had a real sense of togetherness and unity. So I feel like my experience growing up in Portland, some people didn't get a chance to experience that where you could come out the house and your neighbors around you were your best friends and they were black families and there was a sense of togetherness that I think that we don't have right now, and it was organic and you felt, I guess you felt that love, man, like going to school with your friends and growing up with your friends and everything from elementary school to middle school to high school. It just made things, so much more, I don't know, realer. I don't know the best way to put it, but I feel like my experience growing up in Portland is one that I wouldn't take back. I feel like I learned a lot. There were a lot of great people around. Even the things we experienced in our neighborhoods, from the corner stores to the arcade to the schools to walking home from school with your friends and just going to church and vacation Bible school and everything else, man. I can honestly say I really enjoyed my experience growing up black in Portland. It was dope, man. I would have to say there wasn't one specific one that stands out as the first rap record. The first rap record that really changed my perspective on hip hop was Run DMC Rockbox. And as I was talking about earlier about Vacation Bible School, I was actually walking home from Vacation Bible School from Mallory Church, and somebody had a boombox in their window, and they were playing Run DMC Rockbox, and I had never heard that record before, and it was one of the first hip hop records that kind of didn't come off as like kind of corny, you know what I mean? It went kind of into the hard realm of like real hard hip hop that had a hard feel with a hard flow. And I would say that record was probably the first hip hop record that really changed my outlook and my perspective on hip hop. It was really a slow progression because we were doing breakdance, and we were really into breakdancing first. Like, and back then you actually lived the culture. So it was like you would go to school and wearing your Pumas, and in the lunchroom we breaking and doing windmills and helicopters, and then the talent show, you come out as the Beaumont Breakers and stuff like that. So that when breakdancing kind of faded out, hip hop or rapping became more popular. MCing, rap music became a bigger part of the culture. So we transitioned from breakdancing into my buddy Bosco was DJing and producing and rapping, and he was the first one really that had equipment and a studio, and so we formed what would be Just Family Records. But early on, we didn't have Just Family Records. We were just rapping and producing out of the love for the culture, and it naturally transitioned into something that became something for my livelihood, from a hobby to something that ultimately became a career, a means for me to put food on the table for my family and have other business ventures that came from it. So it was definitely a natural transition and progress into it because the culture shifted and changed to that. I think what would be my first real performance was probably on 17th in Alberta. They used to do these shows back in the days, and back then it was you could get booed off the stage. People would tell you were whack if you couldn't do it, or if you weren't doing it right. And of course you're nervous because it's your peers, but for me it was something that I took so serious and that I was really serious about, and I knew, for the most part, not even for the most part, it's hard. I knew I was good at it. So it was just a matter of getting over the butterflies in your stomach, thinking about how the crowd is going to receive you. Also, watching somebody that goes up there before you and seeing how it goes for them, and you take that experience and you're like, man, I got to make sure that I either A, have a better performance than them, or I don't do as bad as them, or the crowd receives me more or receives me better than them. But things went well because it obviously progressed to me being here and hundreds of shows later, tours and opportunities on stage. So, I feel like I was built for it. I feel like the state of hip hop today, everything changes with time. It's not what it was when we started doing shows, when we really got active in the culture. Um, it's not. I would say you have a lot more subgenres. You have a lot more access to the music, so the experience sometimes isn't as genuine as it used to be. Um, but it is giving a lot of young people and not even just young people, but people in general the ability to have some real successful careers in music culture, music business, and hip hop culture through whether it's an executive, whether it's an artist, whether it's a promoter. I feel like the culture has really progressed to give more opportunity. But I also feel like in other ways, some of it is so microwave. Like the music doesn't last as long as it used to. Like when you think about Snoop Dogg albums or LL Cool J or Notorious B.I.G. and Tupac and these classic albums that have lasted through decades. I don't know if albums that come out now will have that same staying power because the uh, the culture turns over so quick, artists turn over so quick, music turns over so quick. So I feel like there's way more opportunity. There's way more room for you to be successful, whether it's selling merchandise, whether it's owning a studio, whether it's having an online business that's associated with hip hop culture. So I feel like that part of it is far more expanded and provides far more opportunity. But the depth of the culture itself, in terms of like the staying power of albums, the experience of getting up on a Tuesday, being excited about going to the record store and looking at the CD and the packaging and who produced it. I feel like that part has kind of faded out, but the culture is still alive and kicking and providing a lot of opportunity for young people and old people. So I feel like the state of hip hop is it's in a good state, but there's always good and bad with everything. You feel me? Um, it's crazy, man, because in terms of current artists, hip hop wise, I would say some of the ones that I really enjoy. Um, I think Lil Baby is doing a great job of like, he's a good representation of somebody that has um, found his niche when he started out. He seemed a little rough, but then he dialed it in, and I think that he's become a great a great example of some of these young artists and what they can do in hip hop. I, of course, I'm still on my Jay-Z and my Nas. Of course, some E40, a lot of E40. I listen to a lot of R&B though too, a whole lot of R&B. Like, cause sometimes hip hop, with the current subject matter, man, you got to be in the mood to listen to some of it. Um, who else am I listening to? Of course, I like what Mozzie's doing from an independent standpoint. He's killing it. Um, who else? Who else are some people that I really, really have gotten into? Um, I think those are the main ones, man. Like I said, like from a current perspective, like the Lil Babies, uh, not even throwbacks, but just like legacy artists, Jay-Z and Nas that continue to stay at a high level. E40 because he also represents independent dopeness and West Coast and Bay Area lifestyle. Um, and like I said, a lot of R&B. I listen to also a lot of stuff that's kind of off the beaten path, like lo-fi and some reggae and stuff like that. So The first business we started was actually Just Family Records with Bosco and myself, the record label. And like I said earlier, that kind of came from us having to make a decision of, as we got more serious about making music, we had to make the decision of whether it was going to be a hobby or a business. And Bosco sat down, he's like, man, we got to either decide if we're going to put out music or we're going to just keep on recording for fun. And we decided that we needed to create an actual record label to release our music and follow, we were following suit of what the Bay Area was doing as well as what indie rock artists were doing here in Portland. So we started the label, and that's where the first releases came from. So that was essentially our first business, and we learned a lot from trial and error. Like, we didn't have any real examples of how to run a hip hop record label. We put it together and hit the ground running, and fortunately things panned out. So it was a blessing. The best piece of advice that I received about and not just business, also personally, character-wise, morally, one of my partner's dads said to us one day, he was just like, um, money is cool, but your word and your character and your morals, if people know that those stand strong, and the type of person you are and your reputation, if it speaks for itself, it will always help provide opportunity. And I learned that, and that's the truth. Like, as long as your name is good and your character is good and people know that I can trust you with money, I can trust you to do what you say you're going to do. I can count on you to show up and contribute and work hard. When people know that about you, in business circles and even in personal circles, your name will speak for itself. And when people talk about, oh, who should I get for this opportunity? Or if we were going on a trip or even doing something just fun as people, who would I call? Oh man, I would call Terrence, because I know, for one, he's gonna be level-headed. He knows how to have a good time. He's gonna be professional. He knows how to talk to people and handle and carry yourself. So just who you are as a person, and your character and your morals and your ability to show up and really just honestly be a good person. It speaks for itself, and it'll always carry weight over money, over fame, over anything. Because you can have somebody with money that's rich and wealthy, and of course they walk in the room and they have all the things that look dope, but if their character is off, if they're not even a good person at heart, it doesn't matter. People want to be around good people. I mean, it's a lot, man. It's a full plate. Everything from, of course, we still have a full load with Just Family Records, which encompasses myself, Maniac Loke, the music of Dre Steves, Bosco, of course, and DJ Fat Boy, and so much more. And then I have partnerships and management situations with Trap Kitchen, and we have our main Trap Kitchen brand, which is the culinary part, and then we have the catering, and then we have our cannabis marketing, which is Trap Private Reserve, which has been a great project for us, because it gave us the ability to dive into the world of cannabis. And for as black men or African American people, we're underrepresented in that space. Also have the Northwest Breakout Show, which is my radio show on iHeartRadio and Jammin' 107.5, which broadcasts every Sunday, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. And then we have all the other ventures, like my partnership with Converge Media, who is a full-blown broadcast company in lifestyle, lifestyle, kind of like TV, podcasts, and so much more. But we won an Emmy Award for the Northwest Emmys, the Governor's Award, which is one of the most prestigious awards. So from everything, man. So Just Family Records, Trap Kitchen, Executive Branch Management, Converge Media, and then we have the new records coming, Maniac Loke and Cool Nuts, Red and Meth, because that's the energy we bring, like Redman and Method Man. And that's everything we have, and merchandise and everything, man. So log on to coolnuts.com. Oh yeah, all the social media handles and the way you can connect with me in the cyber world. Everything is at Cool Nuts. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, which I'm not on that much, and what's the other one? Snapchat, King Cool Nuts. It's too many. There's too many platforms, but you have to be on most of them. So that's where you can catch me. And then again on Facebook too, everything is at Cool Nuts. So just look me up, tap in.